Well, 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 well. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Free Friday, where today we're going to be working with our 3D printer, and we're going to be changing our Anycubic Photons FEP, the film for the DLP printer. It has on here the directions on how to actually put it together, but I'll show you kind of what my process is for doing it. We have one more sheet in here, so if you buy it, I got mine from Amazon, but if you buy it, you'll have one more. You have two sheets. It comes with two. I already used one. We'll be replacing it, but it comes with two, and you can see that there's a, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a secondary film over these, so make sure you remove that. That's the biggest thing that happens to people. They don't remove those. So we'll put this over to the side for real quick because we have to actually take this apart. But before we do, the tools we'll need to take this apart and put it back together and everything is we have the tools that it came with, and then we have a knife. I just have a box cutter knife here, but this is the Allen wrench. This is the hex head screwdriver that they gave us. And then I have a little bitty container here for all the screws, so just in case I don't lose them. So I'll put them all in here. That's what we'll do with that. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 big screws that we will use with the Allen wrench. And then on the other side, we'll be using these, and there's a significant amount more. You can see all the hole right there. So we'll start taking this apart right away. But we'll put this one over to the side, and we'll start unscrewing these. Now again, I have gloves on because you can probably see there's some resin in there, but it already hardened. I left it out in the sun for a bit just to make sure that all the resin inside of there kind of, sealed up for us, just to be safe. This stuff is toxic, so you got to be careful with it. Don't want to get it on your hands or anything like that. I know normally on Free Fridays I put up video games or something like that, but it is Free Friday, right? So I figured that we should do something a little different. And I'm putting out a lot of video games, so I thought, why not? Oh. For these harder ones, you might want to use this side. But I figured, we've been putting out so many games, why not put out something for the 3D printer? And I have two vats. I have two vats for my Anycubic Photon, and this is the backup one. So what I do normally, let me get it in there. What I do normally is I change out one FEP on the one that's basically the I don't know, like the backup one. I leave that one until I need it. Then I put the other one as the backup, right? And then I move on to this one. But this one needs to be changed before I can use it. So I don't change the FEP until I absolutely need to. This one's not too bad, but what was happening was because the prints actually pull off of the FEP, right? It does loosen it a bit. So even if there's no scratches on your actual FEP, eventually it will just wear out due to the plastic being stretched. And then what will happen is basically a rubber band effect where your prints will snap off, causing them to fall off supports or fall off the bed or what have you. Okay, so once you have all those out, you can kind of just press this up, and then you'll have this piece. So now what I would recommend doing is, and I'll probably do this off screen, is just clean all of these edges off with some with an alcohol wipe or something, with IPA. But as you see on this one, there is a ton of screws. So, but first I'm going to pause this real quick so I can wash this up, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, and we cleaned that up, as you can probably see. So that's done, nice and clean. There's a couple spots where the resin probably got on there, but hey, if it doesn't come off, it's just part of the crew. So now the long and arduous process of getting all these other pieces off. So we want to just put them inside of our little bitty container here. This will take you a while, but you know, it is what it is. I was thinking about speeding up this video right here, but you know what? I think we're just going to leave it. Because I am literally just unscrewing a bunch of little bitty screws. So going through all these, you'll have to remember, not necessarily where they're placed, because they're all the same screw. You don't have to worry about that. But know that when we put them back together, we'll have to make sure that we evenly distribute the pull on the FEP itself. Otherwise, we might get, you know, a bow or something like that, and we don't, a wrinkle, I mean, there you go, a bow or a wrinkle. We don't want any of that. So we're definitely going to want to make sure that we evenly tighten this as we go down. Okay, and then the next step after we get this apart is we'll need to change our gloves, because after we get all this done, after cleaning the vat, getting all of this off, we need to make sure we have new gloves, because when we put on that FEP, I mean, we just changed it, so we don't want a big old smudge or something like that on it. So after I get these last two done here, which we're just cruising along here, yeah, put that right there, and then this just kind of lifts off there like that, and we'll put this right here. Okay, so then next I'm gonna go clean these off again, right? I want to clean these off, and then I'll change my gloves and we'll be back. Okay, and we're back. So got these nice and clean. The only thing you really need to keep in mind when you have these is which side is the side that will be screwing all of the small screws in, which you can tell by they're all inset right there. So we'll just put this down there like that, like this. All right. We'll go back with our new gloves. We'll grab the film, right, and then we'll peel this back. This is always the hardest part for me. I'm not really good at it. But once you get it, you get it. See, I don't know if I can even show you. Okay. Oh. I don't know if it's because I'm wearing gloves or what, but this is always the hardest part for me. Almost. All right, we got it. So, pull off one side, put that over to the side. It's gonna be really staticky. Grab the other side, pull that one off, and you can see that this is also staticky. Oh my goodness! So we want to make sure we're all clean of everything. Now this will kind of stick into place for us. So I'm going to make sure there's nothing down there that could scratch it. It doesn't need to be perfect because we're going to be tightening this up. You probably can't even see it. You might be able to see it due to the glare. But we're just trying our best to line it up into the middle. But if it's not perfect, that's okay. Then what we'll do is we'll put this on top. And again, if it's not completely square, that's all right. We're going to be cutting off some of this anyway. So now this is where the I don't want to say the hardest part is, but where the most interesting part is. So we're going to want to put the nut into our screwdriver, into our hex head screwdriver, and just pick one of the corners. And I'm placing my hand on everything except for the interior of the actual the FEP of the vat. So if you heard it dug in a little bit, that's because we need to go through the plastic. Now the plastic isn't all that strong, so it won't take a whole lot of effort, but just, you know, be careful with it and stuff like that. We're going to do the same. We're going to put it on there. Now we're going for the other side. So we're going to put it into the hole, give it a good little press, and then you'll hear a little bit of almost like it pops. That's what we want. And now we're going to want to do the other one. So we're doing this in equal, equal disbursements. That way we make sure that we're tightening it perfectly flat. So then give that a little bump. All right, and then we'll try to put them all tight as we can for right now, but remember that, we're just trying to get it on there first. So we started here, we went there, we went there, we went there. Now we want to go down here. We want to make sure that we completely evenly distribute the, uh-oh, it's not going through. Give me a second. All right, come on now. That little guy didn't want to go through. Sometimes they don't want to go through. You just have to give it a little bit of muscle. It should get in there. And if not, what you can do is you can take this and you can stab it in there. There we go. That worked good. All right, and then after this one, we go over here. Just like that. Oh, I think I put it into the wrong hole. That's probably why, huh? So we did that one, I'm gonna come down here, do this one. Do this one over here. Uh-oh. We want to be careful, though, with these, because we don't want to strip them, and I might have accidentally just stripped this one. Almost. That one might need to be replaced, but that's okay. So then we'll come over here, we'll do this one down here, then we'll do this one over here. Trying to do this quickly, but you have to be careful, right? We don't want to actually damage the FEP we're trying to install. So when you're screwing this stuff in, just be real careful and avoiding this area. Now, if you're looking at this, you'll probably notice that it doesn't look too tight, right? It doesn't look very tight right now, and that's okay, because right now it's not going to be very tight, because the actual tightness of the FEP comes in when we put it back into the vat itself. We're getting close, though. We're getting close. You do want these to be as tight as possible, so just keep that in mind. But we don't want to strip them. That's the biggest thing. We don't want to strip these. Oh, I missed that one. Put that one in last. It's all right. Once you get most of the outer ones done, it's okay to kind of, just go in line. We mostly just want those first ones to be down correctly, so we don't mess up that part. So the other reason you probably noticed that I have the oh, we did it. We just knocked it. That's why I was telling you to be careful. I was telling everybody to be careful, and I literally just did that. Well, it is what it is. So now with those, we can hope that I didn't hit it too hard, and when we stretch it out, it'll kind of even it out. That is a possibility, but unlikely, unfortunately. So we'll just have to have a little bitty dot right there. This is that's why. So now you know that when you're screwing these in, you do got to be careful with them. Otherwise, you'll lose control of it, and you'll put a little dot in there. All right. Next up, we're gonna put our bed down, or our FEP down, or build, and these go on the inside. So we're gonna flip it over and place it on there. It'll kind of fit in. They'll kind of line up on its own. But then these are the biggest ones. The biggest screws, and we even more want to be careful with these, and we have to make sure that the holes line up and we give those a good little pop. Now with these though, we don't want to actually screw them all the way down before we actually tighten it all the way up. We want to get them all in there to begin with, get them as a couple screws, a couple tightens, and then we move on. So we did this one, then we did this one. Now we're going to go over here, give it a little pop, just a couple screws, not a whole lot. Put it in there, go on this side, do the same. Then we'll do the two sides. We'll do this one over here first. And you'll hear it start to make like almost like a snare drum sound because we're tightening it up. So, we gotta be careful with that. Almost did another one. I'm trying to do this fast so we don't have a long video, and haste makes waste, you know. Alright. But yeah, that is one thing to keep in mind when you're doing these, is just take your time. I'm doing this kind of fast to make a short video, but generally speaking, this is not a race. Okay, so now what we do is we want to tighten them in the same kind of fashion. We want to go slow, right? And we want to do a little bit at a time. So we'll do a little bit over here. We'll do a little bit over here. This is going to pull it, you know, sideways for us. Now we're not tightening it all the way down, right? We're slowly building up here. This I am going to go slow with, even if it does take me all day, because I don't want to give any crinkles inside of, or wrinkles or anything inside of here. And then we're going to go over this side. Then we're going to go like this to this one, because we want this one. You can kind of see that the metal is higher on one side than the other, and that's what we're trying to avoid almost. We're trying to make this go down and at an even pace. Then we'll come over here. Come on. There we go. At an even pace. This way it all tightens up evenly. And you can see the spot where I nicked it. It is kind of coming out, and maybe it'll be completely out when I fully get this tightened down, but it does look like there's going to be a little bit of a wrinkle there. And now you will have wrinkles inside of your FEP, you know what I mean? Like little bitty spots. Especially if you have a failed print and you know, you try to get it out with a scraper or something, you'll probably nick it there too. So again, don't worry too much about it, but you know, just be careful. That's what we're trying to do here, is trying to be careful. This again, I am going to go slow on because I don't want to damage it. So all the ones that are really loose, those are the ones we're going to go back to and really give them the tighten now, because we're in the final stretch now. So that's fine. Especially with your hands going over the FEP like this, you just have to be really careful with it. Come on, get in there. Oops. I'm actually going to remove this now. I don't think I need it, but we'll put it off to the side just in case. Because right now we're not going to tip it over or anything. The next step after this would be just us, you know, getting it fully in there. And another thing that I like to do after I change the FEP is I like to re-level my bed. Sometimes you have to re-level your bed a few more times if something really sticks to it or whatever. But generally speaking, even if I've recently re-leveled it, I try my best to keep all that stuff up to date, you know what I mean? This is also a good time to oil up your machine, you know, make sure everything's good, do some tests on it. Basically maintenance stuff, you know. Because we want to make sure that our machines stay, you know, stay good for a long time. And to do that, you need to make sure you take care of them. We don't want to, like, over tighten these, because again, we don't want to strip these either. But we definitely need to make sure that they're completely tight. So another thing you can do is just, at the very end, you can just kind of go over each of them, see if it turns with your thumb. And if they do, give them some love. I think most of these are good though. I'll need it a little bit, but that's all right. Okay, so we have everything. All right, so now we have this extra bit here, this flange on the side. So with this flange, that's where this comes in. We have a box cutter that we're just going to open up a little bit here. And then we're just going to race down the sides here like this. Just kind of keep it close to the interior wall. And we're just kind of cutting it around like this. Don't worry too much about cutting the inside of the wall. Nothing prints on it, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. And liquid shouldn't be coming from out of there anyway, so don't worry about like liquid coming through or whatever. Like you're not going to cut a hole in it. But yeah, you definitely need to be careful with that area with the blade. But generally speaking, you should be fine with it. And there we go. Close your blade. And look at that. Absolutely clean. You can you can kind of yell into it. And that's how you know it's good and tight. And that little spot, I don't know if you can see it or not. Maybe if I put the light on it just right, you can kind of see where I nicked it. Again, not a huge deal. It's all right. But there it is, everyone. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. It did turn out to be around the length I wanted. Did it a little fast. I would say take this a lot slower if this is your first time doing it. Or even if it's your 5th time doing it. Just take it slow. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you'll make mistakes like I did. But until the next video, I'll see you guys all later. Peace out.